Hi, everybody. It's Super Bowl Sunday. It's February 9th. I hope you all are enjoying the day. Big game today. Some news that we'll take care of. Let's see, let me grab my little notes here. So, fourth quarter, Eli Lilly, mixed reviews. They underperformed a little, but they still made almost $14 billion in the fourth quarter. Like I said, they underperformed slightly. Um, they have projected next year to even increase that, and they have made $45 billion in 2024. That's 45 billion. That's a lot of dollars. So, uh, they're increasing the amount of medication that they're taking by 150%. So they say next year they'll have 1.5 times that. So hopefully that'll help. And if they have a lot of it, who knows, maybe they'll bring down the prices. That's all that we could hope for. They're working on larger doses of the vials. Uh, Again, plenty for people to start with, but then it's like, a little bit high price. But then what are you going to do when you have to go higher? And they figured that people just pay the 1,000, 1,200, whatever, because that's the way that they drive up their business. So hopefully the new vials will come out in larger doses. Hopefully, they'll be better priced so that people could afford them. There's the retatrutide should be out in 2026. They're going to release some late findings in late 2025, at which time, if all goes well, they'll put in an application with the FDA to bring it onto the market. Also, the same thing with their oral medication, which is going to be a daily pill. So, for those of you who don't particularly like taking shots, it could be a big game changer. I know I would prefer just to throw one of these in my pills every day and not really think about it. Not that the injection's bad or anything. It's just there's some anticipation, like, ooh, tomorrow's shot day. Ooh, am I going to be able to eat the next day or two? Am I going to have side effects? At least this way it will be a little bit more spread out. And who knows, that might actually help some people with their side effects and with their food noise. And if you're taking it every day, you may not have to go up in doses. I don't know if there's going to be multiple doses, but we'll have to wait and see. So, who's getting ready to watch the Super Bowl? I know I am. Who's everybody rooting for? Philadelphia or Kansas City? I really want it to be a good game. I like Patrick Mahomes. I have nothing against Jalen Hurts. I like him too. I wouldn't be upset either one of them wins, but I want it to be a good game. So, how many people are watching it for the game? How many people are watching it for the commercials? How many people are there for the food? Mixed bunch. And we're going to get into the commercials in just a little bit. But as far as the food, since most of us are on a GLP-1 medication, obviously we're not going to be eating as much of it. So that's a good thing. And, hopefully we'll watch a little bit what we eat, because, if we eat too much of this greasy and bad food, you could get the side effects, and that's no fun. Personally, that's not my idea of a cleanse, is by eating greasy foods and running to the bathroom every 20 minutes or so. But, you know, that's just me. So, how many of you know that right now the Kiddie Bowl is on TV? I've watched it before, and it is really cute, but an hour and 15 minutes of it, yeah, I don't know if I could take that much cute. But it is on right now if anybody wants to see it. And like I said, for 10, 15 minutes, it's cute as hell. So what the heck. And I think at 3 o'clock, the Puppy Bowl is going to be on. So same type of thing. And, all the animals that are on these are all up for adoption. And, it's really good for the, animal societies and stuff like that, a good advertising method for them. And let's hope the best for those because we all want the kitties and the puppies to have good homes. That's always been my thought on it. So now, speaking of the commercials, did you know that there's going to be a GLP-1 commercial on the Super Bowl? Hmm. Hims and Hers. They have a 30-second spot. It's a little controversial. It's very, very dramatic. I watched it on YouTube yesterday. Uh, they never mentioned GLP-1 or what type of medication, but it's pretty obvious by the vials and when they show the shots and all that, that that's pretty much what it is. Again, I don't know if they did that for legal reasons, because I know if you watch any commercial for a medication, at the very end of it, you'll hear somebody ramble as fast as they could, the side effects and, what could go wrong and what to do. And they didn't have to do that, but they never mentioned a specific medication. But we all know what it is. They're a compounding company. They paid about $8 million for that 30-second slot, which kind of tells me that that's a really good sign. If I was a compounding company and I was worried that Eli Lilly or any of them were going to put us out of business in the next 30, 60, or 90 days, I probably wouldn't spend $8 million on a commercial, but that's just me. So that's a really good sign that the compound companies really aren't too worried, and they all seem to be going on business as usual. Hopefully, and I know there's some panic buying. So if you're using these compound companies, have a little bit of patience because they're super, super busy because people just don't know what's going to, be happening. I know that they're now offering multi-month doses. I personally, I use Join Mochi, and on my site, there's a link and my code to get $40 off if you want to do that. Um, then, like I know they have the single vials. I recently bought a 3-month supply. So like I've got, an extra 4 months, and I've had about an extra 4 months. And I just got an email, I don't know if it was yesterday or today, that now they're offering 6 months. You just have to cancel your current subscription and get the new one for the 6 months. Now, be aware that this, I'm sure, Join Fridays has the same type of thing where there's a membership. You have to pay the membership for those months along with the medication. Otherwise, everybody would order a 6-month supply, cancel their membership, 6 months later, pick it back up again. And, they're trying to avoid that, understandably. Uh, what happened was it was time for my regular vial to be sent, and I had called them to change it to the 3-month, and I got somebody new. I guess it wasn't done right. The 1 month went through. I got it. I'm like, hey, I was supposed to get a 3-month supply. What the heck happened? So I contacted customer support, and they were like, okay, the first one went through. That's our fault. We're going to send you the 3-month one out today. And I don't think I got charged for the single month. So, they have really good customer support, and that's very important. So let's get back to the commercial. Okay, so like they're saying, so you're overweight. It's not your fault. That's true. Obesity is a disease. It's not our fault. And, we all should know that. So they're saying it's healthcare's fault. And to a point, they're correct. It's, the whole bureaucracy and, everybody wanting to make money. But, Hims and Hers, it's a telehealth company. And, excuse me, it's besides telehealth, a compound company. How could they not be part of healthcare? I consider myself part of healthcare, and I have nothing to do with medications or anything like that. I'm not a doctor. I just image people. But it's costs of everything. It's for them to blame it on healthcare, and I think they're part of it. It kind of seemed weird to me, but like I said, very dramatic. They're showing animals fighting. If anything, it's going to get people talking, and I guess that's the big take out of it, because people are talking about it, or some people don't even know about these compounding companies. I know when I first started a year ago, it was like, people told me, oh well, you could get it, or pay cash from like CVS, Walgreens, or whatever. I didn't qualify for the coupon because I'm on Medicare, or you could buy, the compound, and I wasn't really sure what that was. I'm like, am I going to get this, made out of somebody's garage? And I saw these ads on Facebook and Google and all this kind of stuff, and I never knew, what it was, and I'm sure there are some places and, some things that are made in people's garages, but I wasn't aware that they had these huge compound companies that are making millions of dollars themselves. So I learned something, and one of the guys that I was working with, him and all his friends were taking it, and I'm like, oh, well, where are you getting it from? And he gave me the name of their telehealth company, and sure enough, I called them and, started getting the medication. Well, that telehealth company is now more money than if you can get the coupon. They're like $600 a month, which is crazy, considering that most of them are, between $200 and $300. And, it came warm, and they're like, yeah, what do you expect? It's not the real thing. It sounded a little shady to me. That's when I switched over, and I had Care Clinic, and they were very good. They use Red Rock, very reputable. The only thing I didn't really like about them is that every time you wanted a refill, you had to schedule a telehealth visit. Now, working in healthcare, yeah, that's not a bad idea to be, seeing your doctor every month, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. I don't even see my doctor more than 2 to 3 times a year. So to have to see the telehealth every month, I thought that was a little much. So and then like with their schedules and my busy work schedule, I'm like, ooh, this could be a real hassle. That's when I switched to Orderly, and Orderly was fine. I forgot which pharmacy they used, but it was a reputable pharmacy. It may have been Hallandale at the time, and came nice and cold and everything. And then all of a sudden they came out with the multi-month vials. And so I'm like, okay, well, next time, I'll order a couple months, and, hopefully, won't have to deal with this stuff, every single month. And that took me like 3 months to get. They were not ready for that. And they probably shouldn't have done that while they weren't ready. And, all sorts of problems. I know people waited even longer than me. Some people say they never even got it, and all sorts of problems. And then I heard that they're working on it. They got a lot more orders than, you know, they thought they were going to get. My opinion on that is stop taking the orders if you can't handle it. They're just that way. At least people know they're not expecting their medications. They're not, they'll know to go someplace else. And then I was reading that Orderly is fine for their single month. It's just that the multi months, like, too much to think of, too much to do. So that's when I switched to Join Mochi, and I've never had a problem. Even like I said, they sent me the single one. Haven't seen a charge go through, so I'm kind of happy about that. But even if I did, I got the medication. I can't complain if they did charge. You know, so instead of 3 months, I have 4 months. Not a bad thing. And that's where I am today as far as um, using Join Mochi. Have I tried other ones? I've seen advertise. I've even seen the advertisements for Hims and Hers, but I like the fact that on Join Mochi, every single dose is $199. And, like I said, if you have a code from somebody, you get $40 off, they get $40 off their next order. And, to me, that's great. And I think only like two people have used mine, and, feel free to use it. Feel free to use somebody else's. Just being on the medication to me is enough, so like, I'm not trying to force anybody to use my link or my code or anything like that. But that's where I stand with the companies. Now, I want to talk again about the pill form of GLP-1. I'd love to know a little bit more about it, because I think part of the reason why it's so hard to get is that, I mean, I don't know if you've looked at, like I look at my CVS, and, they have limited space, let alone limited refrigerators. I know since this whole Monjero, Ozempic, Zepbound, Wegovy and stuff, they've added two more refrigerators. Those refrigerators aren't the kind that you buy at Home Depot. They're hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they, have to be inspected regularly. They have to be logged. A whole lot has to be done with them. So, for them, it's a major hassle. And, it's hard for them to carry multiple amounts of every single dose of every single kind of the GLP-1 medications, along with other stuff that has to go in the refrigerators and stuff like that. They're very limited in space. And, budget wise, this stuff, it costs them a lot of money, and they have to put it out, and, they don't get their money back until people pay for it or insurance pays for it. So, they're putting out a lot of money to carry this. So if it's in a pill, it's going to be a lot easier for them. Plus, you're getting charged for that part of the refrigerator and that refrigeration and that whole process, and, traveling from from the companies to the distributors and so forth, and refrigerated trucks and stuff like that. So a pill form, you know, could be, have a great advantage in the fact that it could bring prices down, at least for that. And, some people, like, I'd be willing to switch, especially on maintenance, to a pill, save some room for somebody else. And, who knows, that might help, with the shortage and, everything like that. So just a little thought. So now we'll talk a little bit of Super Bowl. I happen to be a huge Patrick Mahomes fan. It's, again, I think that they've already won two in a row, maybe time for somebody else. Like I said, I hope it's a good game. I like Jalen Hurts. I like the Philadelphia Eagles. They haven't won in a while, but, Patrick Mahomes, he's a cutie. It's no other way to really put it. He's great in his commercials. He's going to have a great career. I can see, after him going into broadcasting or something along those lines, kind of like Tom Brady did, that kind of personality. Uh, has a huge potential for commercials. Who knows? He might even want to go into acting. Some of the football players do that. And, I'd love to see, Kelsey too. And we all know that Taylor's going to be there. It's the Super Bowl. Of course she's going to be there. So be a lot, it'll be interesting to see what fans are there, and, what stars are there. They always show that. And of course, the halftime show, it's one of the greatest shows, around. Sometimes it's a little too short, but hey, so it's going to be an entertaining day. And like I said, hopefully if the game's close, it'll keep more viewers there. And, then again, too, they have some great commercials. So, hopefully we'll see some good, funny, informative commercials. Like I said, we know we're going to see the Him and Hers GLP-1. So that'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see people's reactions. I know that there's already some controversy, with the Congress, they're like, why aren't there warnings? They're like with other medications. But like I said, they never mentioned GLP-1 medication, compound, tirzepatide, any of that by name. They just kind of, let you assume it, kind of showed it, and, that I'm not a lawyer, but, that may have released them from that legal, you know, uh, reason for not having to say all those disclaimers, but I'm sure they have lawyers and have looked into it. So we'll see about that. Like I said, hopefully it's going to start up some conversations and let people be aware, because, obesity is such a big problem in America, and kind of ironic that, it's probably going to be between a Dorito and a taco commercial or something along those lines, because those are what the Super Bowl has, or, in a beer commercial and things like that, all the stuff that we shouldn't be having that makes us, you know, obese is going to be advertised, but they're slipped in the middle is going to be a GLP-1 commercial. Kind of ironic, but we'll see how that goes. Now, they do have some pretty funny commercials, and I do like the Clydesdale on the Budweiser commercials. They're going to have them again, so, and they have some very, very clever ad people, so should all be interesting, and who knows, maybe we'll get a good game out of it. So I want you guys to let me know in the comments who you're rooting for. Anybody out there for the Eagles? I don't see anybody, but I'm sure there are. Uh, any Patrick Mahomes fans out there? Kansas City? I'm from the Midwest, so, I kind of like Philly, but like I said, huge Patrick Mahomes fan. So let's see. Any other news out there? Let's see. They've increased the amount that they're going to do, that they're going to make as far as the tirzepatide and in its actual form of Zepbound and Mounjaro. I believe there's something like, what did they say, there was like 20 million prescriptions just, in the last quarter alone for that. So that's a lot. Let's see, both the oral and the retatrutide, hopefully it'll be in pharmacies 2026. So be looking forward to that. And I know that they're doing a lot of studies on other uses, including, right now they're authorized for sleep apnea, the weight loss, of course, the type 2 diabetes, uh, a little bit of heart disease. They're looking into it for things along the lines of kidney problems. They're even doing studies on fertility. So, because they say a lot of people are getting pregnant while they're on the GLP-1 medication. So there's studies with that. Now, the more things that it gets accepted for, as far as the FDA approving it for, the more chances of insurance covering it. Kind of a touchy subject, though, because it's a really expensive drug, and insurance companies don't want to pay for expensive things unless they absolutely have to. I mean, they're in it to make money too, so that's unfortunately the bad part of it. So, like, I've heard people online saying that they're having just as hard of a time getting the Zepbound for the sleep apnea, just like weight management, because the insurances just don't want to pay. I don't know. Medicare is probably the worst. I know that right now Medicare is negotiating with Ozempic, which, that could be really big because, like I said, if they negotiate a good price with them, it could, that's going to be for everybody, not just Medicare. So, let's say Medicare agrees that they're going to pay $350 or $400 for it. That means that that's what, all the insurance companies are going to have to pay. And some might start picking it up because it's at a lower price, just, have a higher copay. Uh, that probably would be the cash price also. So, if Mounjaro and Zepbound want to keep up with Ozempic, they may have to lower their prices just to stay competitive. So time will tell on that. Insurance has always been a big problem because, insurance wants to collect all the money they can and pay out as little as they can. I mean, that's how the insurance business works. Uh, if they have to pay out more, they're just going to raise the prices. I know my Medicare keeps going up, so I know my plans at work, they keep going up every year and cover less. I mean, that's unfortunately the way it is, and nobody wants to seem to fix it. I think we should all, call our representatives, our senators, and let them know this is a problem. Because, their insurance is great. They don't, if they had the same insurance we had, things would change, trust me. But the only thing that we could do about it is contact them and, tell them how we feel. They're supposed to represent us, and hopefully they will. And hopefully they do have the power to do something about it. Just like Eli Lilly said that they can bring prices down. It's just a matter of, will they? Hopefully, it's, this is like a miracle drug. I mean, yes, you have to do some work with it, but I, I have, I have tried every single diet that there is. I've gained and lost the same weight on Weight Watchers. I've gained and lost the same weight on Jenny Craig. I've gained and lost the same weight on Nutrisystem. I've done keto. I've done, I mean, you name it. Every diet there is at one time, I've done it. I've gained the weight back. And this time it's been a little bit, a couple weeks more than a year, maybe about a month more than 13 months or so. And I'm still maintaining fine. Of course, I'm still taking a maintenance dose. I'm okay with that. If it's affordable, I'm okay taking this for the rest of my life. And it's helping my health. Obviously, it's like I'm a lot more active. I want to be more active because I can be. Um, and my whole outlook on things is different. And one of the things that they're doing, that they did a study on, is that I believe it's something like 15% of people on GLP-1 get divorced more than people that aren't on GLP-1 medication. And again, it's, because you're changing, the things that you do are changing. It's like I'm working out a lot more. I'm a lot more active. And, if the person that you're with, doesn't like the new that could be a problem. Fortunately, I'm very secure in my relationship because my wife is great and I love her to death, and I'll love her to the day we die. And, you know, she's not quite as active as me, but that's, more because of her COPD than anything. Uh, I'm okay with that, so she's okay with me being active. And again, it's also a lot mentally. It's like you have to figure out, like, just stress. I mean, it's very stressful. Like, oh, I have to take my shot this day. Oh, am I going to have side effects? Oh, is this going to affect what I'm doing this week? All sorts of things along that nature. And it's like, am I going to be able to get my next dose? Oh, I know these compound companies are super busy. Are they going to get it to me on time? And there's a lot of stress. Plus, losing weight is stressful. You have to give your body some rest and, leeway. Like I said, give yourself plenty of time to get these medications. If you're using these compound companies, start early, do your homework. Do not buy it off of somebody on Facebook. Trust me, again, back to that garage thing, yes, people are making it. And best case scenario on that is you would get, some sort of like saline or useless type of stuff. Worst case scenario is you're injecting yourself with something that could get you very, very sick. And we don't want that. So, you know, give yourself time to get the medication. I know that's very stressful, almost as stressful as when none of the pharmacies had it and you were calling around for, you know, days, willing to travel up to 60 miles, all that kind of stuff, Okay. That got a little bit better, but it's still very stressful. So you have to take care of the stress. One of the things I work out when I get very stressed, relaxation techniques, you know, breathe, you know, do some yoga, do something zen, go to your favorite place in your mind, learn to relax. It's going to help you, 'cause this is stressful enough, and you have no idea what the stress does on your body, and it makes it harder to release the fat because you're stressed out. So again, just find something zen, take some self time, and don't be too hard on yourself. Everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to work out the way that it's supposed to work out. Just trust in it. Now, I know some of you, changing the subject a little bit, have been on plateaus. I have a friend at work that's been on a plateau for a couple of weeks, and like, been asking her, so what have you been eating? What have you been doing? She's saying, telling me all the right things. Then I'm kind of like watching her, and she's barely eating, so I'm like, when you barely eat and you don't get enough nourishment, your body goes into starvation mode. And what that does is, your body goes, there's not enough stuff coming in. I'm going to hang on to this fat because I'm going to need it. So you don't lose because you're in a starvation mode. So basically, I suggested to her, you know, they had subs for lunch one day, and I wasn't going to eat it because I brought my lunch. So go ahead and eat it. Give yourself a break. And she ate that, and then she came the next day and said, "Oh, I had some chicken nuggets for dinner." Then a couple days later, she started losing again because her body finally had enough nourishment, so it let go of the fat. So that's kind of the concept of carb stacking. And I've been on this diet of carb stacking, and it pretty much works. And like when I gained like 5 pounds of that back, that's when I started taking this medication. But so I don't know how long it would have worked, but um, basically for 2 to 3 days, you're eating nothing but, your vegetables and protein, a protein shake or some eggs or something in the morning, and just high protein, super, super low carbs. Then you go into like 2 days where you have a couple of, like brown rice or quinoa added to it. And, you know, so then, your body goes, oh, wait, here come the carbs. It's okay. I can release it. And then they suggest for like one, not necessarily the whole day, but you go at least like 14 hours with just drinking water, or coffee or anything under, I think they said like 30 calories, which basically is water and coffee. Uh, and I never really liked that idea. I mean, basically, I'm not a breakfast person, and if I'm working out, like I worked out today, we had dinner, and like the last thing I ate was at like 7:45 last night. I worked out, did my errands, came home. and it was already 11:30. So, like, to me, I just had my protein shake then. Not a huge difference between that and like intermittent fasting type of thing. But just that couple of hours, yeah, I'm not going to bother. Uh, and it got a little bit, boring. Like, and then again, it's like, what day is this? I don't know. Am I allowed to eat a carb? I don't want to have to think that much. So, you know, like I said, I was doing that. And we went on vacation. I gained a couple of pounds. And then when we got off of vacation, that's when I started on the GLP-1 medication. So I still kind of follow that. Like I try not to have a lot of carbs. Like I only try to have quinoa or rice or like a half a sweet potato or something like that. Only once, maybe twice a week, because you do get carbs from your vegetables. And like the other day, I had a turkey burger, and yes, I had it on one of those real light English muffins. So there were some whole wheat English muffin too. So yes, there were some carbs in there. So I do have some carbs, but I try to limit them to, you know, once or twice a week of just having actually something like with a bread or a rice or things like that. Um, and that seems to be working. So it's pretty much the same thing, only I'm not, saying, oh, today is the day that I'm going to have it. It just kind of happens when it happens. And I'm like, okay, I haven't had this in a while, but let's have some quinoa and brown rice or something like that. And seeing that I like to have my meal ready in about 10, 12 minutes, I kind of cheat and I use the ones that are in the 90-second bag. And, there's an organic one that's, strictly brown rice and quinoa mixed. I tend to have that a lot because, again, I get home late and have a series on the channel. If you guys, like, you seem to like the videos of my 10-minute dinners. Um, then I try to keep it light because it's late at night, and um, try not to have too much beef, especially when it's late. What about the Super Bowl? I don't care really who wins as long as it's a good game. I was telling everybody, huge Patrick Mahomes fan. Carol, I know you are too. But I wouldn't be too upset if Philly won because Kansas City has won 2 in a row, and sometimes it's about time for somebody else. Uh, are you about to watch the Puppy Bowl, Carol? Puppy Bowl is going to be on, I think, at 3 o'clock. Right now is probably the end if it's still on of the Kitty Bowl. So, like I said, those bowls to me are pretty cute, but like I said, cute, but I could take them for 10, 15 minutes and I'm over the cuteness. What is this? Oh, thank you, Shaquille. I'm glad you're liking the live. I want you all to watch for that GLP-1 commercial, uh, Hims and Hers. Like I said, already creating a lot of controversy and very dramatic. My wife and I watched it on YouTube last night. It seemed like it was part of Animal Kingdom, part shot, part, the disease of obesity. Well, they didn't call it a disease, but they did say it's not our fault, assuming, that now you could say it's a disease, but uh, just loaded with controversy with stuff like that. They had no disclaimers, but they never even mentioned a drug at all. So they showed pictures of it, and they showed the vials and they showed the pens and everything, but never actually mentioned it by name. Again, I'm sure they have huge legal teams that said that that's okay. I know Congress is already like, oh, where's all these warnings and stuff? It's a medication. So we're going to hear controversy on that for a while. You know what they say, bad publicity is good publicity. There's no such thing as bad publicity. So it's going to get people talking, and that's the important thing. We want everybody that has the disease of obesity to know that the medication is a possibility for anybody. There's ways to get it cheaper if you can't, afford the actual price if your insurance won't cover it, or if you don't have insurance. There's coupons that you can get it for name brand for about $500. You could contact your doctors. There's assistance programs. The compounds range anywhere from $175 to, I want to say 300, but the first place I used is up to 500. But typical range is right around $200 to $300 for the compound. Um, Again, don't tell anybody, but I'd have a higher dose and I just use half of it because that works. That way it lasts twice as long. There's ways to get around things and ways to help make it a little bit more affordable. Um, so be aware of these compound companies. Please watch for these, don't buy it off of somebody from Facebook. First of all, that's also illegal. And if you see an ad, they're like, no questions asked, no need to talk to a doctor, no prescription needed. Run like hell because who knows what you're getting. And we want you all to be safe. That's the number one thing. And we want you to, know that this is available. We're here to support each other. We all want to make the statistics of obesity and the United States as along with the rest of the world to go down because it's only going to make us healthier. I'm no longer on blood pressure medications. My wife is barely taking any diabetes medications. So it's definitely helping. And, again, even she feels like taking walks more than she used to because, we're not carrying around as much weight. We feel better. Hopefully we're looking better. And again, you know, the more you could do, the more it's going to help. The better you eat, the better the medication is going to work. Now, I happen to be an overachiever when it comes to things like this. So, besides working out, besides eating right, besides trying to get every step in there that I can, I'm also doing cool sculpting. I'm trying things like cryotherapy. Ask him about GLP-1 medication. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, I've done the cryotherapy. I've done red light therapy. If it's going to help, why not? As long as it doesn't hurt you. And I know some of this stuff is a little bit expensive, but as long as I can afford it right now and I'm still working, anything I can do to help, why not? Am I doing too much? Probably. Do I know how much each thing is working? Nope, but it's working. That's the main thing to know. So, like I said, I know a lot of people that are taking this that aren't doing all this crazy stuff, and it's working. So, again, I want to do something to help with my skin. Red light is very good with that. And as far as the cool sculpting, they also do skin tightening. And they have this machine that helps produce collagen naturally, and that's important for the skin tightening. Uh, I don't want to really have surgery because I don't want the recovery time. I'm just too busy and too active of a person to want to have 4 to 6 week recovery. I'd go crazy if I didn't work for 4 to 6 weeks. It's like they would have to drug me every day because otherwise I'd go nuts. So that's kind of why I'm trying that. Like I said, I have interview that is being set up with them. I'll let them talk about how they can help, uh, whether you use them. They're locally in Boynton Beach, Florida, and I know a lot of you aren't, but I'm sure they have cool sculpting places by where you are or whatever country you're in. So, you know, it'll be interesting to get their take on things and see what they could do as far, listen to them, see what they could do as far as skin tightening and, and helping with some stubborn spots and things like that. And like I said, the big thing with the cool sculpting when they actually do that part of it and not the skin tightening is it takes like 4 to 6 weeks for it to actually show that it's working. So it's, they do it, and it's not like you're going to leave there and say, oh yeah, I see the difference, because, it takes 4 to 6 weeks before you start to see a difference. So, um, they're gonna let me have access to some of my before and after pictures. So I'm willing to post them on my site, just, so you could tell for yourself, is it helping? And again, how much of that is that? How much is exercise? I also take a lot of collagen because, you know, as we naturally age, we lose collagen, which is why older people get wrinkles and things like that. So I have plenty of collagen. I put some unflavored in my coffee. I put some in my protein drink. So like I said, I have plenty of collagen. I said there are after treatments when they do their skin tightening. Uh, with like the RF waves or something, does create collagen production in your body. And again, during the interview, they'll explain this a little bit better. Obviously, they know more about it, and you could decide for yourself. But like I said, if it doesn't hurt me, I'm willing to try it as long as I'm still working and it's not going to, you know, make me not be able to afford food or something like that. I'm going to try these kind of things. I've always been that way. Call me crazy. Everybody does, but that's the way I feel about that. I'm trying to get my wife to try it, but I don't know if she wants to. Totally up to her. Totally up to you guys if you want to. I'm just going to make the information available on my channel here, and then you can make an informed decision yourself. I showed you some of my hot works videos on the channel. Again, you don't have to join these fancy clubs. I also go to Planet Fitness. My insurance pays for it, but it's really not that expensive. Their plans start at like $15 a month. They have all sorts of machines. Uh, not a bad place. A lot of real muscle people don't go there because they don't have enough free weights and stuff like that. But again, any type of workout, any type of movement is going to help. And move around. If you can't afford a gym, take a walk. Can't take a walk? Do some chair exercises. Lots of things you could do. You can just Google up chair exercises or YouTube it. Plenty of things you could follow. Any movement you do is going to help. And besides just help with your muscles, it's going to help with your circulation. It's going to help with a lot of things. And, we all know that one of the big problems when you lose weight, no matter what diet you're on, whether you're on GLP-1 medications or not, is muscle loss. It happens with every single diet. Some happens with age. That's why they recommend a little bit of weight training, a little bit of exercising. It goes a long way. It helps. I've always told people, that one of the major side effects from this medication is constipation. Water, 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 hydrate, move around. You'd be surprised how something little like that helps with constipation. Yes, here I am talking poop on the internet again. I actually had, for the first time in close to 13 months, my first time that I had a little bit of diarrhea with the medication. It wasn't, anything serious or anything like that. It was like, oh, I think I better go to the bathroom. And I was at work, and then I'm like, well, I'll try to go in the next half hour or so. It wasn't anything urgent or anything like that. And so that's, I guess, enough talking about poop on the internet. So let's move on. Everybody out there, are you looking forward to the commercials or the game or the food? Like I said, hopefully, since most of us are on the GLP-1 medications, we'll take it a little bit easy on that food and don't overdo it with all this fried stuff that's being out there. Like those chicken wings, they could create a lot of side effects. You don't want to clean yourself out that way. It's not the most fun way to do it. So, if you're going to have some wings, try to have one. There's other food there, I'm sure. It's a Super Bowl. I know a lot of people are just there for the food. They don't even realize there's a game on. A lot of people don't even know football, care about football. I had a friend passed away recently, unfortunately, but she was in it for the commercials and the commercials only, because that's when the advertisers put out their best commercials. So looking forward to seeing them. Looking forward to seeing again the Clydesdales. They're going to be back. Make sure everybody's ready for that GLP-1 commercial. It's quick. It's only like 28 seconds or so, but it's an important one. It's a big step. Like I said, it's a very good time for these compound companies. I know if I was about to go out of business, I wouldn't be spending $8 million. Carol loves the commercials too. Okay. Carol, I know you have a crush on Patrick Mahomes, so I know you're rooting for them. Like I said, I kind of am too, but I will not be disappointed at all, if Jalen Hurts and the Phillies win. Sometimes you just can't have the same winner every year, year after year. I'm looking forward to seeing Taylor cheering on Kelsey. They don't show her as much this year. Last year, like they couldn't take the cameras off of her. This year, like you may see one little picture or two little pictures during the game, but they're not quite as concentrated on her. Commercials in the game. Okay, we all, I like the game too. It's like I used to be a lot more into football than I am now, only because I'm, just so busy now. But I realized I was a little bit too into it, so I'm trying to be a little bit better with that. But it is the Super Bowl. I don't want to miss the Super Bowl. We had some friends that invited us out to dinner tonight. We were originally supposed to go out last night, but they had something come out, and they're like, "How about tomorrow?" I'm like, "But it's the Super Bowl. Can we go out before the Super Bowl?" And they'll, "Okay, let's just make it another night," because they're not into football at all. But that's okay. Not everybody is, but I mean, it does have a huge audience, which is why they're paying plus $8 million for a 30-second commercial slot. I don't know if they're cheaper before the game or after the game, or, probably, but probably not any huge amount. Instead of 8 million, it might be 7,900,000. Nothing, pocket change. The difference. What's $100,000? When you're spending 8 million, not much. So let's see. Yep, I think the Kiddie Bowl is over, and we have an hour and a half before the Puppy Bowl. Those little puppies, and they take their breaks for water, and they get illegal use of water, and all that kind of stuff, and out of bounds, and that kind of. Like I said, it's cute for about 10, 15 minutes. Then that's about as much cuteness that I could take of that. But like I said, very good cause. It's for the adoption of dogs, because every animal, dog, kitty, whatever, should have a good home, and not all of them do. And that would be my next campaign. Won't be GLP-1. It'll be that every kitty and every puppy they deserve to get a good home and treated well. And maybe I'll start a campaign for that, but we'll see. First, I'm tackling this GLP-1 thing. So hopefully you guys are learning something from this. And like I said, hopefully this commercial will cause a lot of conversation, good or bad. We need to get people aware that there are these compound companies and there are these options, and that it is such a big problem, not just in America, but in the world. And, all these obese people, it's not a good thing. it's going to create more of a healthcare problem than if they would just pay for this GLP-1 medication. But they're looking at immediate costs, not down the line, because they say the average person every 3 years changes insurance, whether it's because of a job or whatever. They go on Medicare. Uh, so if I have United Health now, and they put out this money, they're not going to see the benefits, because chances are 3 years from now I'm not going to have the same insurance. I don't have United Healthcare, but I'm just saying, using that as an example. So if they're not going to see the results right away, they don't want to pay for it. But if they would realize that they're going to get that person from United Healthcare to their insurance in maybe 6, 7 years, and they're going to be healthier because of it, you know, then it might be a different story, but they don't look at it that way. So hopefully commercials talk us, if we contact our congressmen or senators and explain this to them, just get conversations going. That's the biggest thing. That's what I'm hoping that this commercial does, is just start conversations so that something can happen, and hopefully then insurances will pay, or at least pay part of it, make it affordable, and all these other diseases, a lot of them would go away. I mean, they know that in a pre-diabetic person, that I think it's like 65, 70% chance of them not ever getting diabetes if they're taking this medication. That's huge. Do you know the problems that diabetes causes? You know, and blood pressure and all that kind of stuff. Uh, it's amazing. Uh, we need that. We need better health in the world. That's a big problem. Obesity comes with heart disease, kidney problems, and diabetes. Yep, and we can eliminate a lot of that. My cardiologist is super happy with my losing weight, my blood pressure going, being off blood pressure medication, having normal blood pressure again. It's helping a lot for my cardiovascular, you know, possible health problems in the future. So uh, it's a good thing. I just wish that these insurance companies would look at it that way. It's like, if I was on insurance, and let's say it was $1,000 a month, for $12,000, uh, they lowered by a lot my chance of having a heart attack and maybe needing open heart surgery, which would cost $100,000. So, it's like, you want to pay $12,000 now, or 100 and some $1,000s later, let alone with all the aftercare and all the medications and stuff that go along with that. You know, the insurance companies have to look at it slightly different. I think the only way to have that happen is starting conversations and getting political people involved, like congressmen, senators. Even if you go locally, you got to start somewhere. These conversations need to be had. So that's this is the start of it. That, to me, that's the biggest takeaway from having this commercial on the Super Bowl. It's going to get conversations going. So that's all I have to say on the Super Bowl Sunday. Hope you all enjoy the Super Bowl. Hope it's a good game. Hope you enjoy your commercials. Hope you enjoy the food. Please try not to overeat, or at least don't eat enough, to get sick. Not worth it. Uh, and by the way, tomorrow is the day that more people call off sick from work than any other day of the year. Just a little trivial fact. Always happens the day after Super Bowl, the Monday after. It's the highest day that people call in sick. So have a good Super Bowl, and I'm signing out, and I'll see you on the next slide.